Do you want to take a trip to the neighboring town and visit SAA Park sometime? I asked. SAA Park? You mean the one where you can barbecue? That huge nature park? Yeah, that's the one. The weather is supposed to be great the day after tomorrow. What do you think? My friend Kara had already invited me, and I immediately said yes. The day after tomorrow was a make-up holiday for the preschool, so the park would likely be pretty empty. Wait a second, isn't that Mrs. Sanders? A voice suddenly called out my name. Surprised, I turned around. I thought so. You're Amy, right? The person speaking seemed to know me, but I couldn't place them. I stood there blankly, trying to recall. Oh, sorry, you probably don't remember me. I'm Dan from the sales department at the same company as your husband, Tom. We met at a company dinner once. Dan? From Tom's company? It clicked. Oh, yes, I remember now. What a coincidence running into you here. I explained that I was out with friends and the kids, taking advantage of the preschool holiday. Are you from around here? I asked. No, we came from the next town over. How's your daughter, Anna? She must be in 5th grade by now, right? Anna? I blinked. I think you might be mistaken. I have 2 daughters, Mia, who's in 2nd grade, and Lucy, who's in preschool. Both are mine biologically. Dan looked surprised. Oh, really? I thought Tom had a stepdaughter. It's amazing how you've taken someone else's child into your family like that. I froze, smiling politely, completely baffled by his words. So, he continued, is it hard raising a stepchild compared to your own? I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, but there's been a misunderstanding. My daughters are both my biological children. Dan looked puzzled, glancing at me and then back at Lucy, who had run up. Her face lit up with excitement. Mom, come eat. The sandwiches are so good, she called, tugging at my arm. Dan crouched down to her level. Hi there, what's your name? Lucy, she said proudly. That's a lovely name. Do you like your sister Sarah? Lucy tilted her head. My sister's name is Mia, not Sarah. Who are you? Dan straightened, his face now matching my confusion. I think you've made a mistake, I said, struggling to keep my tone neutral. Dan looked flustered. I should get going. My family's waiting for me. Sorry if I caused any confusion. Wait, I called after him. I don't understand. What's this about a stepchild? And Sarah? Could you explain? He hesitated, clearly regretting his words. I must have been mistaken. I shouldn't have said anything. Before I could press him further, he left, leaving me standing there with more questions than answers. Back at the picnic spot, Kara noticed my expression. What's wrong? She asked, leaning closer. It's someone from Tom's company. He told me something shocking, I murmured, my voice unsteady. Kara frowned. Why don't you head home early? I can watch the kids and drop Lucy off later. You look like you need some time. Are you sure? Of course. Take care of yourself, she said with a reassuring smile. Grateful, I packed up quickly and headed home. Even during the drive, Dan's words echoed in my mind. Could Tom really have been married before? Did he have a child named Sarah? The thought was unsettling. I managed all of Tom's finances, and I knew where every cent went. There was no way he could be secretly paying child support without my knowledge. Back home, I tried to distract myself, but my eyes kept drifting to the family photo on the shelf, taken during a trip last year. It showed all of us smiling happily, Tom, the kids, and me. Could he really be hiding something so significant? Kara dropped Lucy off later that evening. You okay now? She asked gently. Better, thanks to you, I replied, giving her a tired smile. Whatever's going on, don't let it affect the kids too much, Kara advised. You've got this. Her words gave me strength. That evening, I went through the usual routine, bathing the kids, helping Mia with her homework, and preparing dinner. When Tom arrived home, he greeted us with his usual laid-back demeanor. Hey, I'm starving, he said, collapsing onto the couch with a grin. He had no idea what I'd learned. I watched him closely, searching for any sign of deception, but his relaxed, easygoing nature gave nothing away. Could he really be keeping such a huge secret? I had never sensed malice or deception from Tom. He wasn't the type to hide things, and if I confronted him, he'd probably get flustered and spill everything. But I didn't have enough information yet. If I brought it up now, he could easily deny it, and I didn't want to raise his suspicions. For now, I decided to stay quiet. Should I mention running into Dan? What if Dan told Tom we'd spoken? Would it seem strange if I didn't bring it up? That evening, as we sat down for dinner, I tested the waters. The kids and I went to SAA Park with Kara today. Oh, sounds like fun. Did Lucy play a lot? Lucy chimed in eagerly. Yeah, I had so much fun, but Mommy went home early. Tom frowned slightly. Why did you leave early? I wasn't feeling well and didn't want to use the public restrooms, I said, keeping my tone casual. Kara watched Lucy for me. Are you feeling better now? Yeah, I'm fine, I said with a reassuring smile. Then, carefully, I added, oh, and I ran into someone from your company at the park, Dan from sales. Dan? Tom asked, his tone suddenly alert. What did you talk about? He said we met at a company dinner, but honestly, I didn't really remember. Lucy was tugging at me, so we just said hello and parted ways. Tom's shoulders relaxed. Oh, okay. It could have been my imagination, but he seemed relieved. After dinner, Tom played with the kids and then settled into his usual evening routine, beer in hand, watching TV. Everything seemed normal, yet I couldn't stop looking at him differently. Tears welled up unexpectedly. I rushed to the bathroom, turned on the shower, and cried silently. Even if I'd known about Sarah before we got married, I probably would have still married Tom. What hurt was that he had hidden it from me for 9 years. Why didn't he tell me? Did he think he was protecting our family? But the bigger question was Sarah's whereabouts. If Tom had given custody to his ex-wife, that would have been a relief. But Dan's comments made it seem like Tom had been raising Sarah. Could that really be true? Sarah would be around Mia's age. Where was she now? I went to bed with a heavy heart, my mind spinning with questions. The next morning, as I was doing housework, the landline phone rang. It was unusual for it to ring, and the caller ID showed it was from Tom's office. Maybe Tom had forgotten his cell phone. Hello? I answered. Hi, Amy, this is Dan, the voice on the other end said. Dan? Thank you for your time yesterday. After thinking it over, there's some additional information I'd like to share with you. Could you give me your personal cell number? His tone was professional, probably to avoid being overheard. I hesitated, unsure of whether to trust him, but he didn't seem like a bad person. Finally, I gave him my number. Thank you. May I call you in about 10 minutes? Sure. 10 minutes later, my cell phone rang. Amy, I'm really sorry about yesterday, Dan began, his tone more urgent now. Tom just went into a meeting, so I can talk freely for a moment. I need to be quick, though. Why are you calling me? I asked, wary. This morning, Tom asked me what we talked about yesterday. How much did you tell him? I just said we exchanged a quick hello and that was it, I replied. Good, that's what I told him too, but he's still suspicious of me even saying hello to you. We need to be careful from now on. Dan's words were alarming, but I also saw an opportunity. Do you have time tomorrow morning? Could we meet at the same park we were at yesterday? There was a pause. Yes, but my wife will meet you instead. She knows more than I do. I was taken aback. Dan's wife? Why is she getting involved? She wants to explain everything. Please, just hear her out. The next day, I arrived at the park as planned. A woman was waiting for me, her posture tense but polite. Thank you for meeting me, she said as we exchanged greetings. We walked to a nearby cafe to talk in private. I'm really sorry for the trouble my husband caused you, she began. No, it's fine, I said, though I could barely contain my curiosity. But I need to know everything, please. She hesitated, then looked me directly in the eye. My name is Sarah, I'm Tom's ex-wife. I froze. Wait, what? You're Dan's wife and Tom's ex-wife? Yes, but Tom doesn't know I'm married to Dan now. The revelation was staggering. How is that even possible? Sarah took a deep breath. Tom, Dan, and I were all colleagues at the same company. We were part of a group of 8 who started together. After the company's training period, we were assigned to the same branch. During that time, Tom and I started dating. Dan was dating someone else back then and was happy for us. What happened next? After training, Tom and I moved in together, but living together exposed cracks in our relationship. Tom was friendly and easygoing, too friendly with women. A senior female colleague took a liking to him, and although he wasn't interested, my jealousy spiraled out of control. Eventually, it became too much, and he broke up with me. Sarah's hands trembled slightly as she spoke, but then I found out I was pregnant. I felt a chill, and that baby was Anna? Yes, she said softly. We got married because of the pregnancy, but it was a mistake. Tom didn't love me anymore. Our marriage fell apart quickly, and he left, taking Anna with him. He took her? How could he do that? I asked, appalled. He didn't think I was fit to raise her, and maybe he was right. I was mentally shattered at the time. After he left, I quit my job and disappeared from his life. Sarah's voice broke as she continued. A few years later, I ran into Dan. He told me Tom had remarried. He even showed me pictures of Anna. She looked happy, so I decided not to re-enter her life. I just wanted to wish her happiness from afar. But Dan seemed to think Anna was living with Tom, I said, my voice trembling. We thought she was, Sarah admitted. That's why Dan said what he did. But if she's not with Tom, then where is she? I whispered. I don't know, Sarah said, her voice heavy with grief. I don't know what to do anymore. My heart ached for her. How old is Anna now? I asked. She's 11, Sarah replied, the same age as your daughter, Mia. I couldn't let go of the question that had been gnawing at me. Was it really a coincidence that you and I met at the park? Dan hesitated. Yes, it truly was. I wanted to believe him, but my trust was fractured. It's hard to trust anyone right now. I've been with Tom for almost 10 years. And if what you're saying about Anna is true, I need to find out where she is. But part of me still wants to believe Tom wouldn't keep something like this from me. He comes home at the same time every day, spends weekends with us, and never goes anywhere alone. Could he really be hiding something this huge? Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, she whispered, sliding a small envelope across the table before standing to leave. My contact information is inside. If you learn anything about Anna, please let me know. She walked out of the cafe, and I stared at the envelope in front of me. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a single photograph and a slip of paper with Sarah's number. The picture showed a younger Tom holding a newborn baby, smiling alongside Sarah. It was Anna. Back home, I was lost in thought, barely aware of my kids watching me. Mia tilted her head. Mom, you dropped your rice in your soup. Snapping out of it, I smiled weakly and apologized, cleaning up the mess, but my mind couldn't quiet down. I needed a plan. If I didn't pull myself together, Tom might notice something was wrong. How about we visit Grandma and Grandpa this weekend? I asked, forcing a cheery tone. Mia and Lucy's faces lit up. Grandma's house? Yay, they started bouncing in their seats. Sit down before you fall, I said, trying to keep the mood light. It's just for a few days. A friend from high school wants to meet up while I'm there. Tom raised an eyebrow but shrugged. Sure, take your time. I'll just have a lazy weekend at home. The lie came easily, though it left a bitter taste in my mouth. Tom seemed completely unbothered by my sudden plan. Was his calmness just his usual demeanor, or was it something more sinister? After dropping the kids off at my parents' house that weekend, I parked at a cafe near the train station and opened the envelope again. My chest tightened as I looked at Anna's photo. The girl in the picture was a stranger to me, but she was undeniably part of Tom's past, and possibly his present. I pulled out my phone and checked Tom's GPS location. The app showed no movement. My anxiety grew with each passing minute, but suddenly, his location changed. He was on his bike, heading away from home. I rushed to my car, following the signal. After about 30 minutes, it stopped at a small, secure apartment building. I parked a block away and walked toward the building, unsure of what I would find. Standing outside, I debated my next move. I didn't want to barge in, but I couldn't leave without answers. Desperate, I called Sarah to update her. She and Dan arrived within the hour. Just as we were deciding whether to wait longer, the building's door opened. Tom walked out, arm in arm with a tall woman. They were laughing, their body language unmistakably close. I froze, covering my mouth in shock. Dan placed a steadying hand on my shoulder as Sarah's eyes filled with tears. That's Lisa, Sarah whispered. She's a former colleague of Tom's. He was seeing her while we were married. I turned to her in disbelief. So, this has been going on for over 10 years? I don't know, Sarah said. She left the company a while ago. Maybe they broke up and got back together. But where's Anna? I couldn't stay silent any longer. Tom, I called out. He flinched, spinning around to see us. His face paled when he recognized us standing together. Amy, Sarah, Dan, what's going on? Why are you all here? That's what I should be asking. I shot back. What are you doing here, Tom? He quickly unlinked his arm from Lisa's, but it was too late. Dan had already snapped several photos. Lisa smirked. Well, this is awkward. Hi, Amy. Nice to finally meet you. I'm Lisa. You must be the current wife. Her tone was mocking, and I felt anger bubbling inside me. Explain yourself, I demanded. This isn't what it looks like, Tom stammered, but his panicked expression gave him away. Where's Anna? Sarah asked, her voice trembling. Is she here? Are you hiding her? Tom sat down heavily on a nearby planter, his head in his hands. He muttered something, but we couldn't hear him until Lisa interrupted. Oh, for heaven's sake. she snapped. I'll tell them. We all turned to her, stunned. Anna's fine, Lisa said, her tone dismissive. I never wanted kids, so I made sure she was taken care of. I placed her in a children's home. You what? Sarah's voice cracked. Lisa rolled her eyes. She's in a good facility, 2 states away. Tom wanted to marry you, Amy, but I told him he couldn't mention Anna. It would ruin everything. Sarah grabbed Tom by the shoulders, shaking him. You gave her up? You just abandoned her? Tom finally looked up, his face a mask of shame. I thought it was best. I didn't know what else to do. Lisa convinced me it was for the best. You didn't even try, I shouted. You lied to everyone, to Sarah, to me, to yourself. How could you do that to your own daughter? Tom broke down sobbing, but none of us felt pity. Sarah turned to Lisa, her expression fierce. You'll both face the consequences of this. Anna deserves better than what you've done to her. In the weeks that followed, I filed for divorce. Dan and Sarah reunited with Anna after confirming her identity through DNA tests. Though Anna didn't recognize Sarah at first, the bond between them began to grow. Sarah vowed to give Anna all the love she had been denied. As for Tom, he lost his job and reputation after Dan reported his actions to their company. He now works a menial job in a small town, far removed from the life he once knew. Sarah, Dan, and I have stayed in touch, forming an unlikely but supportive friendship. They sometimes watch Mia and Lucy for me, and we've built a sense of community through our shared pain and resilience. Looking back, I wonder if I could have stayed blissfully ignorant, but the truth has a way of surfacing, and when it did, everything changed. For my children, for Anna, and for myself, I chose to move forward, determined to create a life built on honesty and love.